How's it going, guys? My name is Travis. I am back again hosting another week's fun comics. I'm going to chat about, I got a couple extra titles this week. There's a few more than normal because there's a lot of good stuff, and I want to go over real quick what we're looking at. And at the end of this, I'm going to have a new part to this video where it's going to be myself and some of the employees. We're going to be chatting all things about this week's comics, upcoming comics, some of our favorite stuff. Just a quick, fun little kind of 10-minute segment to let y'all know more things that we notice with the buying trends of books, popularity of characters, movies that shift these things, TV shows, maybe even some of the artists that are really popular. We're going to go over a little bit of that and cover some of these books in more detail. A few of y'all I know have come into the store who've watched the videos and mentioned, hey, I saw this really cool segment on that new Darth Vader comic, and I'd like to chat more about it. Well, this is a video where we're going to chat more about it and hopefully give you some more information. So up first, I want to talk about this week's newest release. This is called The Closet, and this is a book by James Tynion. He has done other really, really big titles like Something is Killing the Children. He's done some House of Slaughter. He's worked on some DC books like DC vs. Vampires. These are all massive titles you have probably heard me talk about in the video already, or you've come into the store and without a doubt heard the customers and other employees talking about these titles. Now, why is The Closet such a big deal? This writer, James Tynion, has done, literally, like I said, some of the biggest stuff, and the value is really why this one is on my #1 pick. Anything he has done or touched is literally gold and is worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars out the gate. This is the next #1. So if you're looking for that investment style book, you should absolutely check out The Closet. If you're looking for a horror themed comic, The Closet, we're going to talk about that in my next piece, the next bit of the segment with the employee, and I'll actually go over the horror element of this book and why it sounds kind of intriguing. So The Closet is the first book this week. Next up, Stranger Things. I'm sure you have watched the new season. If you're a D&D fan, a Stranger Things fan, an It fan, you've probably seen that show and you know how good it is. This is just another comic to give you more detail on some of the creatures, some of the characters, the background, the city of Hawkins, just different takes on the Stranger Things mythos and universe. The comic is there, it is official canon, and it's great extra little detail that you can add to your knowledge base of Stranger Things and the lore. Following up, we got Batman. Now, talking a little bit about the investment side of the books, like we did with the Closet, Batman is another title that everybody knows and everybody is infatuated with. They love some Batman, and this is the annual for 2022, and it also contains the first appearance of a new character called the Grey Wolf. We don't know anything about him. I have not read it yet, but I saw the synopsis of the importance to this book. So the Grey Wolf, if you're a Batman collector, I guess pick it up. Don't miss out on a new Batman character. Moving on, Justice League Dark Crisis. We've mentioned this before. I had another Dark Crisis book on here. This is the Road to Dark Crisis, so I think it's technically the first way to get going and prepare for the Justice League all being eliminated and killed. So in Justice League number 75, the entire Justice League of the main roster of them, they are killed by something terrible, and they're gone. And this is all about our new characters, our new generation of Superman and Batman, like John Kent. He is Superman. His dad is no longer, so he has to take the role of being Superman. This is all the characters taking over and becoming the next League of Justice League members. Next up, Darth Vader. If you've been watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is another great new show on TV, this is an awesome tie-in book to get you caught up on more Darth Vader stories and what he's been up to with his Inquisitors he hires, and who those guys all are, the Grand Inquisitor. Hopefully you enjoyed episode 1 and 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I thought it was great. So this is going to be just another fun book to kind of bring you back into that universe and give you more Star Wars fandom that you can appreciate and enjoy. Lastly, we have Miles Morales, the newest issue for that from Marvel. And if you know who Miles is, he is the next Spider-Man. And it turns out he has a sister. And I believe it's issue number 13 of Volume 3, Miles Morales. It's a lot to remember. We get introduced to his little baby sister, Billy Morales, and she is just literally an infant on a page, and that's it. And now all of a sudden, she is in this book, and her name is the Spider Smasher, and she is a massive new character that is apparently going to be impacting all of the Web Warrior universe with Spider-Man and Peter and everybody. So really excited to see what they turned this little baby into, or how she became the Spider Smasher. So that is all my books for the week. Absolutely check it out. Go to your local comic shop. give those guys some support, pick up your books, support local, and enjoy. This is my pick for the week, guys. I have been Travis, and thanks for watching, and stay tuned after this where we talk a little more in depth about this stuff here. How's it going, guys? I am back, and it is time to have some more in-depth chats about new books this week. My name is Travis Ryder. I'm here. I'm one of the owners of Van CCG here in Ridgeland, Mississippi, and you are?
I'm Nick Couture. Hello. I'm an employee here at Vans.
Yeah, we definitely both collect and read comics. We watch Star Wars and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Stranger Things. We're kind of big into nerd stuff in general. Obviously, if we deal in Vans every day. So I wanted to chat a little bit with you about some of these new titles. We haven't had a chance, either of us, to read any of it yet. About if you think it's a good idea to go ahead and show backstory lore on Vader. Do we really need that, or have the movies covered all of it? Investment opportunities like The Closet. Let's start there, I guess. Did you ever get to buy Something's Killing the Children #1?
Sadly, no.
Yeah, neither did I. And so for those of you who don't know about Something's Killing the Children, it is a horror book that is... actually, have you been reading any of the trades at all?
No, that's on my list.
Okay.
So.
Well, the list is always a growing thing with comic people.
Ain't that the truth?
Something's Killing the Children, real quick for the audience, and I guess maybe you, if you don't know all of the story, there is something killing the children, and we're going to figure this out together. It is a horror book. It is super sad. It's very creative, and James Tynion, everything that guy writes tends to be kind of horror themed, and he does a really good job. I remember having that book here on the shelf in the store, and it was $3.99. One of our other employees, William, he did get to buy one. Lucky Will.
Yeah.
But I did not. So The Closet is a horror themed book. Do you think the horror books tend to sell better than stuff like Power Rangers or other independent titles that are not this theme?
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like horror is one of those like genres that is every person fears, right? But we each fear something a little different, and tapping into that is a very like kind of almost primal thing where you're like you end up sitting on the edge of your seat because you want to know what's happening next, right? Because even though you may not like what's happening, you're like, I need to find out like what's going to happen to this group of people or this thing. I need to find out, even though it makes me very uncomfortable to do so. I want to sit through it.
So you've probably nailed why it sells well in a comic format, because I have to then wait to find out what happened to my my character or my team. So I've actually flipped through The Closet. Hopefully no spoilers. I'm going to try to give the overall synopsis that even the company has done for it. There is a child. I know you're going to read it too. This child, he has moved into his new house with his family. They've traveled across the United States. He's in his new room. They still are unpacking the boxes. We shut the door. Hey, good night, kid. You have a good one. And then there's maybe a demon that lives in this new house or closet that is after our very young hero, is how I'll word him. So again, it's drawn really creepy. I flipped through it. I've already looked. I didn't read all the chat bubbles, but yeah, it's very upsetting to see a young kid put in that kind of situation. Same thing with Something's Killing the Children. So, like I was saying, that book just alone by itself, please do not disregard a new book called The Closet. James Tynion has just been killing it. Absolutely come and check it out.
Especially if it has James Tynion on it.
Yeah, if it has James Tynion, you might as well just buy the #1. You can never go wrong with him. So next is Stranger Things. Have you seen the new show?
I have. I just finished it last night, as a matter of fact.
Okay, so you finished it. I'm about halfway through.
Yep.
Overall thoughts on the show?
Amazing. It's probably the second best season they've done.
Okay.
The only reason I can't put it over one is because always the first one's the best one, because that's when you get introduced to the world. So
kind of
it's kind of
experience
new
to it,
and stuff like that. But this one, you really see a lot of development in the characters. You see a lot of not only that, but the actual like plot of what's going on, all that kind of stuff. It's just phenomenal storytelling. The
Awesome.
Duffer Brothers did an amazing job with this season.
I want to finish it.
Yes.
But when you have a couple of kids and it's late at night and you get off work at 7 o'clock, you only have so many episodes you can watch in one go.
Exactly.
But I will finish it. My wife and I have enjoyed it. There's a lot more like blood and gore, I feel like. So that was interesting.
But much going back to the horror feel, like I was saying, is they managed to capture a lot of those, once again, that kind of like 80s horror feel, and in a very specific horror movie that came out in the 80s, they managed to like really grasp that concept and convey it very well.
Yeah, I felt very Freddy Krueger vibes.
Yes.
So I guess that's honestly what I'm trying to say. People like the comic because it's just more of that. So when you're done the show, you can read the book to get more.
Yeah, I actually flipped through this one, so there is a little like plot line within the story.
Cool.
That this is the backstory for that plot line,
Sweet.
Basically.
Well, there you go. For somebody who's seen all of it, there you go. Next up, it's a Batman new first appearance, the Grey Wolf. Thoughts?
Always good to get in on those first appearance of Batman villains, heroes, allies, whatever it is. Anything that has to do with like a new Batman character, whatever, it's usually get in on the ground floor with them. Because like you've mentioned it before, where it's like the issue with like a lot of Batman characters is they were all introduced in like their first 3 issues. We're like back in the 60s and stuff like that.
Literally $50,000, $100,000 to $1 million. That's where you can get Joker and Catwoman.
Yeah, exactly. But whenever they finally introduce, like, whether it be a new villain or a new ally or something along those lines, it's always to get in on, especially with Batman, because they rarely introduce like that new thing. And usually whenever they do, they tend to go deep into it. So.
How often do you notice, not really Batman per se, but I feel like I have my own number in my head when customers will come in and they want to get that key issue off the wall, get a really good deal. How often do you think that happens with a book like this? If we put out the first appearance of Grey Wolf, are we going to have people at 10 a.m. on Wednesday ready to roll to grab him?
Not
necessarily.
Not Grey Wolf specifically.
Not Grey Wolf. We don't know enough about Grey Wolf.
Not yet. Anyway.
We'll go back to this video in a few years when it's like the biggest thing.
I know, right? He ends up being like one of the best Batman villains.
Remember those guys
come
were
out and
talking smack about my Grey Wolf? Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Let us know in a few years if you ever run this.
All the Grey
Wolf
stands out there.
Yeah, good deal. Dark Crisis. Did you ever read any of the Crisis events that DC's done?
Oh yeah, I've read Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Okay.
And then what was the other one? Help me out, my brain.
Infinite Crisis.
Crisis on Infinite Earths. And then,
there was an Identity Crisis.
Yeah, Identity Crisis.
I don't think it's really the same.
Yeah. And then there was that other one.
Blackest,
0 Hour.
Zero Hour and Blackest Night. If anybody remembers Blackest Night from about 8 years ago. Fun stuff. It's the next big DC event. Probably check it out if you're a Justice League fan or whatever. Moving on, Vader. All right, so what's your thoughts on the comics being canon versus episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9?
If I say, are you sure you want to get into this right now?
Well, we have a few minutes left, so let's not do the whole thing.
Yeah.
I personally...
Another episode.
Yeah. Personally, I like knowing that I can read more content on Vader. I don't know if I enjoy that it is all 100% canon, because the movies, they had multiple writers. They have people watching it, and screen tests and screenplays, and it can be kind of hashed out in a group setting about, do we really like this thing about Vader? Versus this book comes out and just tells us, this is how he got that lightsaber crystal. Yeah. There's no arguing. It's just this writer got to decide your lore and canon. Yeah. But is that any different than a director just deciding, really?
Yeah, see, that's always been the weird thing. Because, see, I'm an old school style of EU, Expanded Universe, Star Wars reader. So I read a lot of the books and the comic books from back in the day. And George Lucas put me in a weird position because they basically said, that's not Star Wars. But then they start coming out with new comics and stuff like that. And then, but the issue with comics, as we saw with DC, and one of the reasons they did Crisis on Infinite Earths, they started getting too spread out. And there wasn't like a concise vision. Yeah. So I feel like with having the comics basically set in stone, this is how it happened. It doesn't give the director that wiggle room to where maybe it goes, that just doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel like Darth Vader. That doesn't feel like this character. It's all like, no, if you want to see how he got that crystal. Here it is. It's not like it's open to interpretation. It's very much, this is how it goes.
Well, there you go. So. Somebody who, believe me, we've had hours of chats, who's critical on Star Wars.
I've got the largest soapbox for Star Wars.
Oh boy. And then last, I guess real quick, it's just another issue of Spider-Man, but it has a new Spider character. I feel like it's a lot like Batman's new appearance. Personally, I feel like Miles Morales' official new Spider Smasher sister is a little more important than maybe Grey Wolf. Again, Grey Wolf, I'm so sorry. I don't know enough about you, but Miles Morales is not in the movies yet. I think we're all in agreement it will happen.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse, A live-action Miles hasn't happened yet. I think when it does, if we ever see the sister on screen as well, super big deal. Another book I'd probably invest in. So I guess that's it. And again, if you ever want to chat more comics, watch some really cool, just fan nerd pop culture videos, definitely check out the Dicejunkies. We love working with them. So that's been us, I guess, here at Vans.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.